Let's talk to Dr. Lauren A. Wright, who's a political scientist, politics and public affairs professor at Princeton University. Thank you so much for being with us. We were hearing there from our correspondent what is supposed to happen on a day like today, because it's the normal part of the election calendar ahead of inauguration. Just how far from the norm is what we're going to see today from the Republicans?
Yes, well, it's essential to start with the fact that today is the certification of very dry administrative process, only receiving hype because the President of the United States has said that Mike Pence somehow has the authority to reject electors or otherwise overturn the results of the election. That is not true. And in fact, one of the reasons the vice president's authority over this process is restricted to a ceremonial role is because the founders were worried about conflicts of interest. And so, despite the president's assertions that Mike Pence can somehow throw a wrench in this or do what he says, our system is specifically designed to prevent that, and Mike Pence must follow his duty by the Constitution, by law, and according to historical precedent.
I mean, you know the legality of all of this better than anybody else. I mean, what you said is exactly right, but it must strike you then as incredible that so many Republicans are actually pursuing this strategy.
It is incredible. And certainly there are a number of Republicans that plan to emulate Trump in the future. And there are a number of them, even more, that are scared of Trump's base of supporters, some of which we just saw gathered in the Capitol today. But if we take a step back from this on the national level and look at what's happened during Trump's presidency, one take is that it's actually been disastrous for the Republican Party. Trump came into office in 2016 with a narrow margin and without the popular vote. He had unified government. He then behaved erratically and in an unhinged manner, and the GOP lost the House in 2018. Then Trump was impeached, and now it seems almost certain the GOP will lose control of the Senate too. And that's not even to mention policy failures like the coronavirus response, like the failure to do anything to get the debt under control, which Republicans care very much about. And so, according to that record, you could easily make an argument that Trump's national brand in a country where politics are becoming very nationalized is not a positive one.
But everything you've just said suggests that really he should be run out of town by the Republicans themselves, and yet they're having such difficulty prizing away his total grip on the party. How long do you think that grip can actually last?
Yes, well, the reasons you just cited are why Mitch McConnell did not want his caucus to object to this process. He's worried about the political implications, and there's nothing that can be changed here. And so it very well might be a problem for Republicans in the future because, again, our system of government is designed with the fear in mind that a president would one day try to make himself king, and there are stopgaps to that. And we're seeing those, but this process is very disturbing for a lot of people watching, including members of the Republican Party who will not object today.
Doctor, we've run out of time, but thanks so much for joining us here on BBC News, giving us that assessment.